Yeah, there was a pretty serious wreck in Hammond Switch at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Owl and the Night Owl.
The Owl and they had well, it was also
Split a
one.
switch.
Yeah.
And the back two coaches hit an engine.
Yeah. Sidetrack there. There was also one when they first put the Sunbeam on 26, I believe. Anyhow, back in there, they got cluttered up as to where they were supposed to meet at Bryan. It didn't say Bryan siding, it just Bryan. So the man on 13 went on up there towards the stock bins, and then that come around that curve at Bryan. That's the case of misunderstanding. And in all probability, what it was sharp landing on that second coach from the rear back there.
Some of the papers we've got on this engine show that there were 3 subclasses of the 900 engine.
Oh, well, I see it's F1.
And then there's supposed to be 3 different kinds of F1.
All right, now the difference was feed water pump, and then there was a long time 3 of them didn't have a feed water pump on them. So that would be your 3 subclasses. It's BL pump over here, and then the ones with the SA pump, and the ones with no pump.
I didn't know if it had to do with the extra counterweights that they added to the drivers for passenger service or not.
Because when they went through the shop, they did that to all of them.
You know, that one over in Beaumont, it doesn't have it. It's strictly a freight engine.
It doesn't have a steam heat connection on it?
No. No steam heat connection and no additional counterweights on the main drivers.
She never was shopped, and they're really going to need $5 in her. What I'm talking about is because I'd have sworn they did it to all of them. Of course, like I say, those engines work in San Antonio up there, so, and they should be a steam heat. That's steam heat connection and everything up there was on every one of them that I was ever home.
About how many cars would this thing? Like for instance, if we were to take an excursion, where's the nearest Y?
Lufkin and Herman, Beaumont. I don't know whether she can come around that west leg of that black Beaumont. You know what I mean, coming around.
Going up to Rabbit to Lufkin, that's pretty. It's uphill, but it's
rolling.
Rolling. About how many passenger coaches, heavyweights, you think we could?
You come out of Lufkin with 20 Pullmans and 35 flats, and not real simple here.
Good enough for you?
Mm-hmm.
Good enough for me.
Let's see. I don't know what that old timetable 36 I've got there at the house. I don't know where to give. It just tells where the engines can go. It doesn't give the rating of the passenger service how much it can handle. This one would handle more than a P13 or P913. Mike would handle the same. In fact, some of these engines for a long time, they used one of these engines on a pack between Bakersfield and LA. That might have been an L5. Every one of them had steam heat connection.
All right, now if we
Over the Sierras, they use these on pack.
if we had I would say
10 coaches.
10 or 12 coaches.
You can
behind
open
us.
here, you can open here the car into the water and go to the left and turn around, come back to the car, come and get the water. Fuel.
One tank load.
2 tanks. Just top the tank when you come down.
Now, if we were going out west, would we be able to get over the Sierras to a good passenger strength in this thing without help?
No. If you remember the movie they have with that 4449, when he went east, I think he didn't have 3 coaches.
Okay.
And he put a pair of diesel on here and he was pressure behind that brake coming down here.
Train brakes couldn't handle it.
No, well, they just didn't want to gamble with it. You see, we don't have tire coolers on it.
That's true. Now, the way I've been taught to handle brakes on steam engines. You set your train brake and kick off the independent.
You can't do it that. You leave the engine brake on too. Turn on your tire coolers.
How far would it be to put tire coolers on this?
Huh?
How far
You
would
got
it
to
be?
want a
Water line.
3/4 inch water line with a small dripper on top of each one. All those engines out west have it working out there. And in fact, the 964 had one when she came down there. She still had a tunnel stack on it. Some of those F5s that came down there still had one. The ones that had tunnel stacks on when it came down here, some of them they jerked the pull the pipe off and they put the booster pipe on the road for it.
What about San Antonio? Is it accessible?
I don't know. There's a wide area. Not one Kirby. Why is why San Antonio's down there where I'm
The reason I'm asking is, would we have any trouble going through Knuckle Junction?
what do they call Knuckle Junction?
It's out there just past Glidden, between Glidden and San Antonio. There's Eddie Quinters was one that was telling me about it. When the engineers decided they wanted to extend they really wanted to run all the way to San Antonio instead of crew changing at Glidden. A lot of the flatland engineers were getting over into those hills and stretching the train across a couple of hills, and in one spot down there, he called it Knuckle Junction. I'm not really sure the exact location, but there's knuckles all over the ground where they pull freight apart down in there. You have to be real careful.
Eliminate that right quick. Good ash chew will stop that. When we first got diesel, was when you could walk from milepost 111 to milepost 113 on Knuckles and Gulf. And that was the old hips. So I was going up through there one day, and the fireman started telling me what to do, and I just looked at him and grinned and went on. We weren't even looking at him down Knuckles, so I asked Flagman how the caboose rode. He said he rode good. I said, what's been happening? He said, there's places there where you can get on this caboose. It's like rolling and stop. If you'd been right there, you could have got on that caboose if you could have held on when slack run out. So, I went up there with 125 one day, pretty balanced load, and I went through there wide open, everybody jumping up and down screaming. Nothing happened, so that worried me. But if you take up here at Splendora, if you don't handle your train right, you'll have 3 runouts there. And if you have the runouts, you will have trouble over at milepost 113. If you don't pet them through there, literally. I went out here one day with 28 cars with company rock next to the caboose. I got 2 knuckles back to back just before you get the same center of the bridge out here. When slack ran in on me there at Humble, I knew I was in trouble. And then over there at right the other side of Porter, that saucer there, I got 2 more.
I live just north.
Well, I got 2 more. So then we went to Cleveland at a tremendous speed of 10 miles an hour. And we set those 28 cars to rock out, shell back and picked them up on the head end of the left and set out and stood on the hind end. But they figured out those knuckles would broke out there anyway, 5 cars behind you, like bullhead down there in the truck. 5 cars of gravel coming against 5 set steel, 10 set steel, 20 set steel. And knuckles closed. Anyway, McEwen called me and asked me if I needed anything. I said, yeah, I need to pick up all the knuckles. Well, I did. We'd already used all of them.
You think that the couplers on this one will pass inspection?
But drawbar. One safety part is rusted out.
Let's see.
Bar looks good.
Your bar looks good. You'd have to kneel it. That's what they did. They took them out. What is it, every 6 months, every year. And kneel them.
Yeah.
Same way with these, same way with the pen. All that needs is polishing up. I guess they got that too fast. I can see a little pressure.
Buffer's loose.
I can see a little pressure.
I loosened it up a few months ago.
Those are history.
Sure. They won't pass inspection. These new ones.
Won't pass there either.
Let me ask you this line right here coming off of,
That's your air signal whistle.
okay, just a little whistle up there now.
Whistling cab. That's what it did. That's what
Now, when did it whistle? When the conductor
when
wanted
the
to call
conductor
you?
release pressure back there, or you make a whistle up here.
Okay.
These-
Are parts of it, when you left
Yeah,
SP, were parts still available for this thing?
yeah,
Think we can still get them?
probably
For
can.
For the distributing valve?
Or either that, or, now I understand that engine up, Rockwall, they are going, not Rockwall, but Round Rock, they're gonna put 26 on it.
Yeah.
Get it and clean it up. I'll probably all it needs, that's bronze in there. All your parts are bronze.
That's not a quick action cap on it.
No, regular. See, here's your pin in.
And if you're gonna, when we move this thing, we're gonna have to carry it dead in the train.
All right, that's where it goes.
But, we'll take and close this one. Then we close it, there it's closed. And,
It charges your main reservoir.
and your main reservoirs run your
Run your
brakes.
brakes on the engine.
All right, we close double head and cock, and
Double
we're
head,
set.
hot close, and wire.
Okay.
In other words, wire to keep somebody from getting up that food.
Okay.
Good point.
Well, Greg will
That's a good
probably
point.
be right in the
Yeah, but what I'm talking about, go ahead and wire it anyhow. In other words, that, there's
Keep
no
it falling
argument
off.
then.
Yeah.
It's a guarantee.
Guaranteed.
Lock it closed, and that way
Yeah.
it's closed. Good
But,
point.
somebody that's really good and got the time, take this off, tear it and clean it. And you lap it in, and then when you clean it, when you lubricate it, you take a piece of chamois skin and take powdered graphite and brush it on there.
I can get that. 'Cause I volunteered to, the air pump, the air brake
This
system.
one here, the safety valve, it said, I forget what it said, but it says in, restriction what it is. This cap here, this is what puts your engine brakes on when you use your engine brake up there. Now, you said with that quick action, it probably is. This is the equalizer over here. When you draw air off your train line, that's when it goes back to train that system goes. And just put your engine brake off and you make a reduction in train.
What about these brakes? You think they'll
They
allow
they'll
us
stand it. Yeah, they're good brakes.
a little on the thin side, some of them.
As long as it's not into here. Otherwise, if it's into here, they won't. That's what that's for, the marker. That one's real clean.
Now, those cast iron brakes,
Cast iron. You know, cast iron.
That'll be enough for 20-mile trip.
That's enough for 20 miles to it. This back bearing here is 3 pieces. It's got 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 on it. That's all inside it. Getting it?
Yeah.
Of course, this is 1 piece here. These knuckle pins are 1 piece.
all right, now, how much slop are we allowed for this stuff?
Okay. Wouldn't hurt to put a new one in there. Because that could affect your valve up there. See, this is what controls your valve.
Side to side play doesn't bother, but
Back and
rotary or
forth,
back and forth
yeah.
does. Okay.
It's not, it's really not enough there to,
Here's the-
Change your valve travel a little
yeah,
bit.
it could mess you up. Not too much on light running, but if you had a heavy train. I
Well,
saw
we want
one
it
time. Huh?
I want it tight.
Okay. I saw one time when it been in for an inspection, and they got them crossed. Put this one on the other side. That engine was lame, we all raised hell. I was around, I was standing on the rest of Houston, he wouldn't change it. He sent it back to Houston, but Houston changed it. Those air pumps,
Something my granddad
more than likely, everything in there will work because it so much lubrication soaks in.
The only thing that we found is when you take, see, we took off on the other
One of the
side.
small ones.
One of these, I believe it was this one right here, or that one right, no, that's the one, we took that one off. There's carbon, all up in there, all the oil is turned to carbon, and this is all probably stuck, carbon. The bell ringer was that way.
Stuff with carbon. Well, it shouldn't be too hard to steam it out because you see your, of course that pump rod, that piston rod on the pump, that's Monell.
Now, the valves in these are they're,
That's your golf valve. Crossways up yonder at the valve. The stem, this one's hot.
you reckon it's got the D-slide or the spool type valve? Thank goodness, we can get parts for it.
All right, here's what a starter wants to say though, guys. There's a rod, a diversion rod, up there at the top on this side. And this one is hollow. And when it gets so far down, it reverses. It catches the button and reverses. When it gets so far up, it catches the reverse. It actually reverse piston on the side. Now those valves work back and forth. You get them sometime with, I call it water bound. You get up there and loosen those nuts, pull the nuts on that thing, and try to open it up real easy, blow the water off the valves and tighten them up. Hydraulic locks on is what it was.
Herman had to be tall on these things, didn't he?
No, use a packing iron.
Packing hook?
Packing iron. It had a V in the bottom of it.
Told you that's what you use.
Yeah, you
I
wanted.
can't reach the thing.
What he wanted to do is take the pipe down to here where he could reach it.
No, use packing hook, packing iron. See, they do that when they first fired it, when they first worked it, so they got hot. Then forget about it. But you see, if the engine has been hot all day, we didn't think about doing that pump on right. We didn't think about it. Not what about it. When it got in, at that time they did it. When you got in, they opened those drainers. Good. Now I've had them on diesels. They run for 15 minutes right there. You can get air into your brake. You get ready to take this off, take the bolts out, get them off, got the shit around.
Now, on these drivers, when we send them over to North or Southern to work, they say that when they'll take and turn these tires and everything, but they'll also quarter your pins. Do these drivers
I think they need quarters.
these have keys in them,
These have keys.
so they ought to just stay.
They stay there. They'll stay there. They don't have to re-quarter. They'll one of these got a key. Should be right along there. Yeah. Yeah, they're keyed on.
So they don't have to take the wheels off the axles then, right?
No, because they should have the old wheel way there. I know they had one here that turned both out at the same time. Then we turn 80-inch drive.
We should still have it.
Well, they sold it to an outfit up east somewhere. Got a hot box on it between here and Shepherd. It's burning the motor in it. Hot box on the motor in it. I couldn't do the things that up and broke his head. They sold 2 tires. Couldn't put out a word time. All it did was make it hot. That's no joke. Blow it deeper into the wood. Which one of the reservoirs there? This one or
This one over here. Evidently, what we've been told, when this thing came off,
It's going. Just don't hit the red button.
Yeah.
You see the thing up there? It's moving. Let you know that the film is going. I've been holding it almost.
I think the other red force got one.
Yeah, steady cam.
Oh, they use cats to take it out instead of a rusted out down there.
Blew that hole out with the water pressure.
How many pounds?
Water hose.
Oh, boy.
So she's
That's it.
That's it. Unless you can get a new end, cut back the ear, put a new end on it. I don't know where it'd be worth it to do
I'd
that.
rather just replace the whole thing.
Replace the whole thing.
So the other end probably got the same condition.
Now the other side, it had one tiny weep that, where it lapped,
Yeah.
where it's in single shear.
Yeah.
There was one tiny little weep of water through there, and there was a 1/4 inch plug, and the other one up at the top on the end that it was weeping through there. And we ran it up to what, 210 pounds? Maintained it at 210. So that, and I took hammer, tacked along it, at least what I could get
Yeah.
to on the other side, and it held.
You can see where the hammer picks on these. There's one right there. And when they're pecking, you know, then they repaint them. Or newer ones now, they're enamel now. They don't have to hammer them. Oh yeah, they're drilled. You got short holes in them, all of them all the way around.
Telltale hole,
Huh?
telltale.
Telltale, rust out so much, telltale. Yeah, they don't have to hammer them anymore. All they do is have to test them.
Now when they took these off and pressure tested them in the shop,
Yeah, I went
they
out
stand
for
them vertical.
Huh?
They
I
stand
lay
them
them
vertical.
down without that.
Just run a dip tube in them, run a up through here, let the air out. That's what we did. We didn't do it right. There's a connection on this valve. Where does that go?
That's a leader.
Leader.
That's leading.
Lead down this way.
That's got leads reservoir.
And this line. Is that the drip off
It's a drip line for something. This one over here is that one over there is a drip line for your dynamo.
Only thing I can think is it comes off of the,
See, a lot of these engines up until the 20s had hydrostatic lubricators, like that 55 engine. And some of them, when you see them carry them in to jerk the jacket over the boiler and put them in your firebox, there was a pipe still going down there. Let's see if this one, I think this one's wrong. Yeah, see it right up there. That's the best.
when they move this thing, what kind of, since we're gonna be moving over dead coal, what kind of oil? Think like 50 weight or 40 weight? 90 weight.
First thing I do, I go about the first move is a few feet. That's what it is. Right here, right
Pour it in,
Yeah. Get the rust out of it.
That's what I'll bring
Yeah. Like this, it feels just as good as the case iron. Do the same thing.
Is there any kind of special care that lateral motion driving box is gonna need?
And what? No. Same care the rest of them do. Let me see in here just a minute. I don't know how much, all right, you can see how much movement you've got in there. It's more than the others. See here?
From here to here or from here to this? Oh, okay, between there and the
Yeah,
tube?
yeah. And then your wheel has got some in it. Your wheel is allowed to have I believe it's 3/8, it may be more, I don't remember. But you have so much in your hubs, and then this one's got the addition, more than the others have.
Do the others have any lateral motion?
Yeah, they
besides
have,
the
you're allowed to.
gap?
You're allowed 3/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. See, right in here is where it is.
Yeah.
That's the reason I asked about his grandpa's inspection hammer. The little, the top of it, and it is fixed where you can just set it down in there and see if it's right.
Okay.
If otherwise, if that, the hammer will go down in there, it's too much.
Okay.
They've had a pretty good grease job on that. Old Tig said he had a grease before he brought it out here.
Sure hope he can make it today.
Well,
He's not in real good shape. He said his back was hurting him pretty bad.
now if you have one hooked up, if you don't think that one will talk to you, it'll talk to you just like the back there and make it over there. She'll move.
Tell you what, let's take a look at that back drive box. That's on the other thing that really seriously worries me.
What about it? What do you send there? Yeah.
Think that'll,
It'll go right loose.
don't think we'll lose it, do you?
No, I don't think you will. No, I didn't know that the southern three-quarter wheels were right. I thought they had a wheel lay where they, you know what I mean, that slapped them on and turned both wheels at the same time instead of laying. It'd be easier to take the tires off than it would be to just heat the tire and take them off and lay them down. It would be lay the whole wheel up there.
Because what they said that they did was they would they had the ability to turn the tires in the shop, but if you wanted the axles turned, they send them out to another company and they take the wheels off of the
You
axles.
have to do it to send them out to touch them up. And that's where the problem comes in.
Now, when they pull these wheels off, I assume that they take and they heat this thing and then press them off, or just press them off? Press them off cold?
I saw them.
Do they have to refit this? We won't have to, if they do that, we won't have to re-shim. We won't have to shim that.
Over that key in there. They may put a pipe out, put a finish in, and may. You heard me say may, according to how much it takes to press them on and off. See, all of these wheels have been turned with the steel band there, put on there and welded to it. So just not counted as a shim. Well, this tire you see it's fit out here. I don't know how deep it's through, but what it is, you see your tires, your wheel centers will sink. Will come in every time you keep taking tires off. So what they did, they turned them to a certain diameter, spread that piece of oil plate enough to slide it on and then weld it on there. You're allowed 2 shims. Cheap way of doing things. You take all the West Coast engines like this, have box or other kind of drivers on it. These don't. We had some mics with them on it, but we didn't have any ones with them.
How many broken lead springs are we allowed? Is it
To
2?
drag it, there's no restriction, I don't think, but to work it, I think you can have two leads broken in each spring.
And no 2 together?
No two together.
About how long do you think it'd take to drag this thing from over on San Antonio and Rancher's Pass there, right by the summit,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
from
about.
there out to Armco, that 20 miles?
Well, you can try it out up to 10 miles an hour up to Eureka and get out and feel of her, listen to her by, and then take her up to 20, let them carry them right on out to the, you're in luck, they won't have to carry in the yard at Englewood and run around her, because that tight wire is gone out there. We used to have wire out there you could put these things around. And I don't know how long it would take to pull a turn on.
Okay. Do you know anybody that we'd have to deal with? Who we'd have to talk to at Fort Terminal Bank?
No idea whatsoever. Ron Greenberg will tell you he's got to out there. I have no idea whatsoever who that is. You're gonna make it a single move or carry it in with that regular chain switch in it?
Have no idea, that'll be up to them what kind of tower.
Whatever they give us.
What I'm talking about is with a regular drag, is what I was talking about.
Because we have not talked to them at all yet about the particulars of moving this.
Got to get in shape and move first.
You gotta get the air brakes working. Now, the base brake rigging's got some defects in it.
Yeah.
All
Now
that,
that can put 3 or 4 empties ahead of it, behind it, braking power.
we wanna give them as little room to,
Plane as possible.
exactly, because I figure they're going to anyway.
Just like moving that one over Beaumont.